And welcome back. Today we're talking about a reselling strategy that I don't hear a lot of people talk about on social media while I process some inventory, friends. I will be selling this inventory all of the ways. I'll show you. This is going to be a good one, friends. Grab a notebook, grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's get into it. I am new to this type of reselling. I just started doing it, you guys, in 2025. I'm filming this in April of 2025, but this has been a great way for me to move stale inventory or to just source really affordable inventory and flip it and get immediate cash. And it's been a game changer for my business. Let's jump into it. I've kind of briefly talked about this, but I wanted to do it a couple of months, you guys, before I made a video on it. In 2025, I actually started selling to a local thrift store. So what I mean by that is we all know like how to sell to consignment stores, right? Like Crossroads or Buffalo Exchange or other little mom and pop thrift stores where you take a bag of clothes, they tell you what they want to buy, what they don't, and they either give you a store credit or they pay you out in cash, or some consignment stores will take the item and pay you out once it sells. But what I am talking about specifically is selling to a store in bulk and getting paid out immediately. I'm going to tell you how I happened into this business strategy. You guys know I am always telling you diversify, diversify, diversify. I am a strong believer in that. I currently resell like 7, I was counting it before this video. It's 6 or 7 different ways. I do it all of the ways. I sell on ThriftUp, Poshmark, eBay, The Real, occasionally Amazon. I used to be a huge Amazon seller. I'm a live seller on Poshmark and whatnot. I wholesale, so I sell bulk. I say bulk, but yeah, I in my group, I have a reselling group. I sell about like 200 to 500 pieces a week. I have 2 people in my group that get a couple hundred pieces of me from a week, and then I offer like smaller affordable bundles for people that don't want to spend, because it can be a lot when you're ordering that much in bulk. But now I have also been selling in bulk to my local thrift store, and I am currently marketing myself to sell to another one. So I'm going to tell you how I did it. There's no gatekeeping here, you guys, because it's been awesome. And it's, like I said, it's been a great way to make income very fast. They pay me out on the spot. Right now I am taking the store, well, we'll get into it, but that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you how you can do it if you would like to. Now, you don't want to just think like Crossroads or Buffalo Exchange, okay? You can start there, but think about it. They have people coming in every day, all day, trying to sell stuff. They are probably inundated with inventory. They probably don't want to buy bulk from just one person. And they probably don't want to buy it from you at all, because if they take this inventory from these people that are coming in all the time, they're already paying out so much in cash, okay, every day. Here's what I did. Focus on local, independently owned consignment shops. The way I found these, you guys, I was just outsourcing. Here's how I got started. I was outsourcing in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a very big area. I was in a suburb of LA. One thing I will gatekeep is I will not tell you where this store is, because I am the first person they've ever done this with. And they asked me to not spread the word or tell them that I'm specifically selling to them, because they're doing this as a test run. So they are a local consignment shop. The owner, I was in there sourcing, and she has amazing stuff. I'm talking like mid-range to high-end, very trendy items. It's a very nice suburb in Los Angeles, and I bought a lot of stuff. I think that day I bought like 45 or 50 items, and she told me, I've never had someone buy this much stuff. And you guys know I yap to everybody. If somebody starts a conversation with me, especially while I'm out sourcing and we start talking about buying and selling, you guys know I'm going to talk. If you've seen any of my videos, my oldies but my goldies, you guys have seen me talk to the most random people, and I let them talk forever. That's how we make the connections. I think that's why I do well in these positions of like real estate and making connections and reselling, and my job in healthcare. I have to make a lot of small talk with people I've never met before. So that's how she and I started talking, and she was like, so are you a personal shopper? And I said, yes. key tip, I'm gonna be dropping a lot of tips in this video. You guys, like I said, get a notepad. If you are nervous about telling someone that you're a reseller, because you guys know, some people just don't like us. They don't like what we do, whatever. And if that really makes you nervous, just tell them you're a personal shopper. And you're not really lying, because that is what we do. Now, do we know the shoppers that we're shopping for? Not really, but whatever. She said, are you a personal shopper? I said, well, yes, I am. And she's like, yeah, the only people I see that buy this many items at once are stylists, which are very common where I live, stylists and personal shoppers. And I said, yes, I am a personal shopper. I'm always sourcing, and sometimes I just have too much inventory, and I sell it other ways. And I told her, like, I sell it on ThredUp and The RealReal. And of course she knows what those things are. She owns a consignment shop. And she's like, well, do you ever sell to shops? And I was like, I have sold to like Crossroads. You've heard of that. She's like, oh yeah. That's how I got the idea to start this as my own business. We're a small business. I've been here for 10 years. We have very high-end clientele. Like, this is what she said, friends. She said, like, on the low end, they wear like Anthro and Free People. And I was like, yeah, I can tell by everything you have here. That's low end, like $150 Anthro dress. And she's like, well, if you ever like have a lot of inventory and you want to sell it to me, here's like, she had a little, it's not even a card. She had like a little cheat sheet of her best-selling brands. And a lot of these brands, you guys, I'd never even heard of. I had to Google them. A lot of them are sold very expensive, very obscure brands. And then there were brands I noticed like Loro Piana and Burberry, Gucci, it's very high end. And she's like, if you ever have a ton of this stuff, and they love Free People, they love Anthro, I would be happy to be one of your buyers. Like, I could buy in bulk from you. So you better believe I went through my 1,200 listings. I pulled some of my Free People, some of my Anthro. I pulled from stuff I already had. And she gave me her card. I emailed her. I said, I have about 100. I did not wait, you guys. This was on a Friday. I emailed her on Sunday. I said, I have 100 items. So basically she told me, like, look, I'm lacking in inventory. These women come in and they buy this stuff, but I don't have enough people selling to me this really good quality stuff. She did say I need minimal flaws. And so she said, bring it on over. I took 100 items back to her store. She bought 75 items, you guys. And we worked out a deal where we price it per piece. I will say this way is a little bit more time consuming because she is really picky. So, she knows what her clientele wants to buy. But I mean, some of these pieces that I got from the Goodwill outlet, you guys, she paid me $40. I paid $1.50 for this really nice Anthro jacket. She paid me $40 for. The lowest we went on some pieces was like $10 for like a basic Free People tank top. That most of this stuff, you guys, I either got in liquidation pallets, they were new with tags, or I got them from the Goodwill outlet. I want to say like 80% of what I took her was from the Goodwill outlet. I just realized I'm not showing you any of the inventory, but you guys don't care about that. I can show you towards the end. I want to get through the main parts of the video. So 75 items on average. She paid me out $25 per piece. You guys, I'm talking, I took everything from Free People to Anthro. One of the items I took her was a very old Prada sweater that I found at the Goodwill outlet. I tried to like really impress her with this first sale. So on average, I have the math here and I have the spreadsheet because she sat me down, we went through everything. She paid me out $25 per piece and I got $1,875 in cash. $1,875 in cash. I will say, I don't know that this is like the norm. I just found this very small bourgeois, locally owned consignment shop. The thrift store I'm talking to now, they're not looking for high-end pieces like that. This is a mom and pop thrift shop. They told me they mostly serve Gen Z to like millennial moms, college kids. So they're not looking to pay any more than like $7 to $8 per item, which could still work for me because a lot of the stuff that I would give them is stuff I get from my Goodwill outlet palettes and the Goodwill outlet. If you haven't seen my Goodwill outlet videos, I will link them down below. It's a lot of work, you guys, but I usually buy a couple a month and my cost per item is less than $1 because these palettes have hundreds and hundreds of items in them. If you haven't seen them, those videos, I do recommend it. I'll link it down below. So I will say, I think for the majority of stores, if you're going to do this, you've got to really keep your cost of goods low. Even though I knew this was like a very nice bourgeois store and she told me she would pay up for certain pieces, I still wanted to take her things that I hadn't spent like $50 or $60 on, you know, because I do spend that on some things, my higher end pieces, especially things that I find like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. So number one, if you take nothing away from this video, if you're going to do this, make sure you're going to have access to items at a very, very low cost of goods. Think about it. These stores are resellers also. They are selling things in a brick and mortar store, so they need to get a deal. And it needs to be an attractive deal for them to even want to work with you, because they can get stuff for free. They can get things from donation. They can get people to bring it into them. You have to make it alluring for them to want to buy from you in bulk and pay you out immediately. So here's who I recommend focusing on. Locally owned, independent, consignment shops. Say that fast 5 times. Buy, sell, trade stores, high traffic, vintage, boutique shops, pop-up thrift collectives, and small business owners who resell. You guys, I have been reaching out because I would love to have like 3 stores that I sell to every month. And I've just been Google mapping it, you guys. That is how I found this luxury consignment shop. That's how I found this mom and pop thrift store that wants to pay no more than like, I think they said $6 to $8 on the high end. I've just been literally typing this in to Google Maps. Vintage boutique shops. Local owned consignment shops. You will be surprised about the things that may be near you, or maybe like not even near you guys. The one that I'm talking to, that's the mom and pop thrift store, they're not near me. It's about an hour and a half away. But you know what? They're considering buying 200 pieces from me a month. That makes it worth it for me to drive over there. So if you can like maybe find a place on your route to work, on the way to visit a family member, it can be worth it if, like I said, 1, you have a very low cost of goods, and 2, you can offer them a really good deal so that they can still make a profit. I told you how I did it with the consignment shop. It was kind of just like organic. I was sourcing, and she's like, wow, you buy a lot of stuff. And then I told her, yeah, I buy too much sometimes and I have to send it off. And it was like a very organic conversation. But with this local mom and pop thrift store, this is exactly what I did, you guys. I visited the store. I looked around, I was like, oh wow, you guys have some really great stuff. You guys will know when it's a mom and pop thrift store. It's not called Goodwill, it's not called Savers, it's not called Salvation Army. The name is literally like Nikki's thrift shop or something like that, okay? And I kept going there for like a month. I would pop in like once or twice a week and I would buy a couple things, like 10 things here, 15 things there. I think moving forward, I'm just gonna call people and ask, but I think that this technique worked because I kind of became familiar to the worker and the owner. There were always 2 people at the cash register, and I quickly learned one was the owner and one is like the owner's daughter who works there. They have very limited hours. Okay. So I asked, oh, like, do you own this place? Are you the manager? This was like my 6th time going there. And she was like, yeah, I'm the owner. And I told her, oh, I am a personal shopper and sometimes I have too much inventory. Would you ever be interested in buying inventory in bulk from someone like me? And this is what she said, and this is why I say you want to do local. She said, you know, we do get quite a bit of donations, but a lot of it I just don't feel comfortable putting on the store floor. So maybe we could work out a deal where we do like starting maybe like 50 items, see how it goes, see how it sells. And I told her, well, I think she was trying to do more of like a consignment situation where she would pay me as it sells. And I said, I'm not really interested in that because I just have so much that comes in. I don't have the manpower or the brain power to deal with that because she doesn't have any like fancy backup, you know, like background computer system that would show me how much I'm getting paid out. I would have to come in there and she would tell me and we'd go through it. And I was like, I don't have the time or anything. Would you be interested in doing just like an instant deal? where you pay me out low price. You know, I said, I understand you're a small business, I'm a small business, and that way we can both make money. And she said, well, how do you source this stuff? I was very honest. I said, I get a lot of stuff in pallets that I buy from Goodwill. And I also get a lot of overstock and liquidation from pallets I buy from like Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay. So this is where we're at right now. We are starting small, 50 items. And I will pay you out $6 to $8 per item. How does that sound? I said, great. And she's totally up for taking things from H&M. She's totally up for taking things from Old Navy, plus size. Like I said, she has very like Gen Z to millennial customer base. And it was really important. It is really important, you guys, if you're going to do this, to ask them what they want. Because if you bring them a bunch of stuff they don't want, they're not, like I could never take Old Navy and H&M to the lady, the boutique lady. Like she would literally laugh in my face and probably never work with me again. So you do have to, one, talk to people. I know so many of us that work online in our small little business bubble are introverts. But if you're going to do this, you have to talk to people. If you're not comfortable, like I am doing it in person, like I said, do it on the phone. I'm going to start doing it on the phone just because to save me time with driving around. But I think the reason I'm like having success on the first 2 goes is because it's in person. They've seen me a couple times. I'm spending money in their store. I'm building a rapport with them. So I think that's the best way. But like I said, I've only been doing this 4 months. But just as a small business owner myself, I feel like they appreciate me spending money in their establishment before I just ask, like, hey, can you buy stuff from me? So if you're not comfortable, try starting on the phone. And like I said, you guys, if you're not comfortable telling people you're resellers, I totally get it. Just say you're a personal shopper. That's all you have to say. And if they ask who you sell to, you can say I sell to, I don't know, Google who your main buyers are on eBay. And that way you're not lying, okay? But totally go the personal shopper route, okay? I will say though, professionalism goes a long way. If you're gonna do a phone call, be super professional, keep it short, brief, ask to speak to a manager or a buyer. Don't just start talking to the person who answers the phone. You wanna talk to the people who are in charge. If you're going to do this face-to-face, let's say you're like me, you don't really care, you'll talk to anybody, I recommend going a couple times, buying a couple things, maybe making yourself known, and then after a couple times doing the pitch that I did, because it's worked for me twice now. All right, so I've made a list of what they have bought so far. So the mom and pop thrift store, I told you, actually so the mom and pop thrift store is the second one, and I'm pitching myself to a third one. I'm so like overloaded with stuff, you guys. It's just a lot going on. She wants popular mall brands in excellent condition. They love new tag inventory, both of them. The Bougie Boutique, I'm just gonna call it BB. The Bougie Boutique, she loved the new tags Free People, the new tags Anthro. A lot of that stuff I had found at the Goodwill outlet over the last like year. Some of it I got in a liquidation pallet. Some of it I got in a Goodwill outlet pallet. Trendy pieces, boho, cottagecore, they both love that stuff. And then in-season pieces, of course, because a lot of their customers are not resellers. I think the BB, Bougie Boutique, she said she doesn't know if any of them are like buyers, resellers, because they're always looking for things in their size. She's, you know, she has a close relationship with them, unlike if you go into a Goodwill. So they want things that are in season. Like right now, they're buying a lot of dresses and shorts and skirts and sandals and hats because it's spring and summer is coming up. Both of them told me they don't want heavily worn items. The Bougie Boutique lady doesn't want anything that's super old styles unless it is very premium. Like, you know, think Loro Piana, Brunello, Prada, Gucci, that stuff is fine, but any of the like Anthro or Free People or Farm I send her, she doesn't want it to be older styles. And things with stains or flaws, neither of them. They both told me like they don't want it. So that's something to keep in mind. Like if you are going to do this like I am from the Goodwill outlet, you really want to be meticulous. If things need stain treating, like I wouldn't recommend just going to the Goodwill outlet, buying 100 items and taking it direct to a thrift store. If they need stain treating, if they need to be cleaned, if they need to be dry cleaned, if you feel like it's worth it, I think you should do it, because if you don't, they're probably not going to buy it from you. Because like I said, you guys, really keep in mind that a lot of these stores can get items for free. So if they're going to buy from you in bulk, and they've both told me this, like, look, I get donations from people. I get people that will come in and sell their stuff to me and I pay them out and I don't have to buy in bulk. So if I'm going to buy from you, it needs to be good. Like if I'm going to pay you out in cash, the day you bring me these items, they have to be good with minimal flaws. Maybe the people that you work with won't be as strict. Maybe you'll work with a store that like will pay you out a max of $6 an item and they're not as strict. I don't know, but this is my first two times doing this. And this is what's going on. One thing that I always call her my reseller mentor. You know, the lady I always talk about that's been doing this for 20 plus years, has no social media. She has a huge warehouse here in LA and she's killing it. She suggested maybe offering bundle deals where I do like 20 pieces for $200, even to the mom and pop thrift store. I haven't tried that yet. I will keep you posted. If you guys want an update video on how this goes, like over the year, let me know. My goal is to do this all of 2025. Stick with at least 2 stores. I want to build up to 3 stores and just see how it goes and see how much profit I can make. So if you guys want updates on this, let me know. But like I said, I am very new. And be flexible, okay? Like, your goal is always volume, not max profit when you're doing this, right? Because like the first time, the BB, I sold her 75 items. And then the second time she took like 200 items. And then the third time she dropped down because she didn't have that many sales in her store. So we dropped down. So you just really need to be flexible. But the goal with this is, because you're not making a huge profit per item, except for the bougie boutique store. I'm actually making really good profit per item. Most of the time though, you guys, you could make more money listing this stuff yourself, photographing it, listing it, storing it. That is the reality. The goal of wholesale, and I've always told you guys this, is volume. If you can do this at volume and you want the quick cash, it can be worth it. I always told you, I don't know that I would do this full time. Like this wouldn't be my only reselling model. Just because you have to do such huge volume and it can be a lot of work. But for me, it's not that much work because I'm already sourcing these Goodwill outlet palettes. I'm already going to these stores to source from them. It takes me no extra time to just, you know, like take the stuff to them, sell it, and source while I'm there. The only thing that is added is like the stain treating and then making sure everything is perfect. I keep saying this, but I'm literally getting to the point where I need help in person, because if I had even someone part-time, like 15 times a week, I would literally 15 hours a week, this would be the bulk of what they do. I already have a virtual assistant that helps with listing and yeah, that's all she does. I was trying to think, what else does she does with listing? So the only other thing I would need help with would be shipping, and I would have them like stain treat items, and then I would have them, as I trust them, like do the drop-offs for me. Like that would save me so much time. Yeah, maybe even a little bit of sourcing, but I think I'm getting there. Maybe by the end of this year. I never thought I would hire an assistant for reselling. I've always said, you know, I like keeping it small to myself, but I don't know. As I resell in different pockets and diversify, I think it might be worth it. Remember, the name of the game here is volume and quick cash. Keep your prices down for this inventory. If you have access to inventory at a great deal, and you can get it in volume, good quality inventory, and you really want quick cash, this could be a great way to go, you guys. This has been great. I have been using the profits over the last 4 months from doing reselling this way to reinvest back into my business, to be able to buy new inventory, to be able to upgrade some of my equipment. I got a new camera from this profit. I got like a new, I don't even know if you can see it. I have a new microphone. Hello. Like, it's been amazing, you guys. And like I said, it only takes like maybe an extra hour or two to stain treat a couple things and throw them in the washer and pack them up nice and neat. I still source at these stores, which they love. Like the day she paid me out that $1,800, I then stayed in her store and bought $300 worth of stuff because she has such great inventory. So, and that made her happy too, you know? So, I wanted to share that with you guys. I didn't show you any of the inventory. I've just been talking. I wanted to get through the bulk of this. Remember, group members, I will type up my notes and make this into like a PDF ebook format. If you don't know about my group, shameless plug, I actually sell wholesale items there to group members. I do group exclusive videos. After this video, I'm actually going to film my Nordstrom Rack haul. Nordstrom Rack just had a huge clearance sale. I got some really good stuff. And they said they want to see it, so I'm going to film that video. So that's coming. There's monthly giveaways. Oh my gosh, I didn't post the April giveaway. Every first of the month, you guys, I give away, like I've given away $100. I've given away a wholesale bundle worth $250. It's worth way more, but it would cost $250. And this month is a $50 cash giveaway. And I totally forgot to post that. Psych it. You guys, if you are new around here, I am a nerd. I make lists and notes for everything. Group members, this will be in like PDF/ebook format within a couple days after this video. I always leave a link to the group down below. I sell them wholesale. They get dedicated videos, but for the like really tip heavy videos, I try to make my videos in like PDF ebook format so that they can download it on their phone, save it while they're outsourcing, use it as a reference. So here's why I like it. Number one, it's fast, you guys. You get immediate cash. There's no listing, no photograph, no shipping, none of that stuff. You're not doing that. It's very similar to selling on ThreadUp or The RealReal when you're just buying things, you're boxing it up, and you're letting them do the work. The only difference is with those things, you have to wait till they sell, you know what I mean? And it can take months. Like literally, I just sent 3 boxes to ThreadUp 3 weeks ago. They still haven't even listed them yet. They do have the boxes and they haven't listed them yet. And once they list the stuff, then I have to wait for it to sell. This is even faster than that, you guys. And you can do this as little or as much as you want. You decide before you pitch yourself to these stores how much you can do, how little you can do. And then once you set that up, if you can get it on a weekly, bi-weekly, or even you can do it, I'm pitching myself currently to a store to just do monthly drop-offs. You can make this as big or as small in your business as you want, you guys. And it really reduces burnout for me. I feel like this type of reselling can be great for those of us that are part-time or full-time. It really can be what you want it to be. We're able to get cash even during those slow times, you guys. Like yesterday, I listed my my virtual assistant didn't list anything yesterday. I listed 30 items. I had 1 sale. Do you know how discouraging that is when you're listing every day and you have 1 sale? It's hard to keep the motivation to keep going, but it's nice when you have other pockets of money coming in from diversifying your business. So this is why I love it, you guys. Bulk selling equals instant income and freedom. I put that in bold. I write a script. Some of you probably think, oh my gosh, this girl is such a nerd and she's such a weirdo. We didn't even discuss the April Fool's video. I didn't want to discuss it in my most recent video because some of you are still watching it. It's still circulating. I literally thought nobody would watch that video, you guys. But I should have known because I titled it like something salacious, like scammy resellers, that people were going to watch it. It is hilarious how many of you I got. I told you guys at the end of that video, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it down below. I basically came up with like 5 story times that I just created in my head. And then at the end of the video, I said, oh, April Fools. And I was thinking to myself, should I actually tell these people that I created these stories? They are going to think I am such a weirdo. I have always had a very creative imagination, like with stories. Everyone used to tell me, even my teachers, they used to tell me you should really be a writer. Like you could write scripts because you create the most interesting, off the wall sometimes stuff. I actually did self-publish a couple books. You learn things about me all the time. Anyways, I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag too soon about that April Fool's video, but so many of you, I got so many of you. I thought these stories are so outlandish. Nobody's gonna believe this. Oh, that was hilarious, you guys. But I had a live sale on April Fool's and so many people were like in my live sale cracking up like, girl, you really got me with the cooch bag. And I've actually been to Paris, Arkansas, so that's why Paris, Arkansas, if you haven't seen it, you guys, check it out. All that to say, I am a nerdy, weird girl, only child here. We usually are a little bit weird.